Hello and welcome to part 4 of how to use Circuit Playground Express. So if you watched our last video, we learned about how to use if and else statements to make our board create this kind of bouncing, colorful light. And today what we're going to be doing is something similar but in a different way. So rather than using if and else statements, we are going to be using what is called a list. So if we look over at what Moo is doing, we have this if and else statements, or these if and else statements, and they are choosing what color our light is. So if it's the first light, it's going to end up being yellow. If it's less than, or if it's greater than the sixth light, so 7, 8, 9, then it will be pink. And if it is between 1 and 4, so 2 and 3, it will be green, and the rest should be white. So what we are going to be doing is taking this out and replacing it with something else. And so what I'm actually going to do is, rather than, completely getting rid of this if and else statement, is I am going to do a second way of doing this inside of kind of the backwards part of my bounce, right? So remember, this is the part that is going forward around our circuit playground, and then this is the part that's going backwards. So in here, I'm going to use my second method. So I called it a list, and I'm going to write some stuff up for you. So right here, I have a list, right? And if I were doing something like a shopping list, right, we would know kind of what that would look like, right? I would maybe do like, I don't know, chicken. And then maybe the next thing I would want would be pasta. And then maybe some... And excuse my hand for messing up my focus, right? But that is what a list looks like. We're all familiar with this, and it's just the same thing in computer science. So what we're going to be doing is, rather than obviously food on our list, we're going to have colors. So my colors, we're going to do, let's see, red, yellow, and green. I would do red, orange, and yellow because that would look nice, but it's hard to get orange. You're welcome to try to figure out how to do that, but we're just going to go red, yellow, and green. So I'm going to cross out my other list so it's not confusing. So instead of doing bullet points like we do when we're writing down a list, what we do in computer science is we put a list into brackets with commas in between the elements, the things inside of our list. So a computer science list would look like bracket, and then I'd have red, comma, yellow, comma, green. Again, sorry about the focus. I'm not sure what's doing that today. Right, this is a list. We can see that they're essentially the same thing, but that's really all there is to it. Now, to make this a little bit easier on ourselves, we are going to give this list a name. And the way we do that is we just say equals, and then I'm going to call this, because I already have one thing called color, I'm going to call this color list. Now you can see the way that I've written this, I'm doing a capital L. This is called camel case. Basically what it does is it lets you be able to read mashed up words together without having an issue. So if I were to write this like this, color list, it's hard to tell where one word ends and the next begins, but doing capital letter at the start of every new word helps make it way easier to read. Another thing people like to do is put an underscore. So you could do color underscore list like that. Personally, I like to go with camel case. And the reason we do this is because spaces are not okay to put in a name in computer science. So there's lots of different ways of doing it, but that is why I do the way that I do it. So let's head back to our code.
we have this list of colors, and basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to be having our program rotate through these colors. So I'm going to go here, and right below my color variable, I'm going to make my color list. So again, it's just going to be a list of different colors. So I'll do red, yellow, green. Cool. So now I have my list of colors. And anywhere that I write the word color list, it is going to replace that word with these values. Okay. So how am I going to use this? Let's go down here, and right now I have color. I have whatever the light is going to turn on is going to be color. But instead of doing color, what I'm going to do is color list. Now, if I try to set the color to color list, it can't do that, right? Because it's getting 3 colors at once, and it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I only asked for 1. And I'll show you what happens if I try to do that. So if I hit save right now, it should give me a nice little happy error and say type error, unsupported types for add list tuple, right? Basically it's saying like, I don't know what you're trying to tell me. And it says, so you can see it's like line 148 in neopixels. Oh, sorry, you can't see any of this. Let's see if I can fix that. There we go. Okay, so it says type unsupported types. And then here it says file neopixel, right? So in this other file, it has an error on line 148. In this other file, it have an error on 169, but we can see in code.py, which is our file, the error is coming from line 61. So basically is what happens is on line 61 in our file, it tries to set a pixel, and it goes over to this neopixels.py file, right? That makes sense. The lights are technically called neopixels, so it goes over to this other file and says, hey, do this thing, and it's like, whoa, I have no idea what you're talking about. I asked for 1 thing, and you gave me 3. So what we need to do is we need to select a single item from a list. And turns out we've actually already been using lists, even though you guys probably don't know it. So this right here, CPX.pixels of X, what this is doing is it's choosing a pixel from a list of 9 pixels. So we're going to do the same thing here. So for example, if I did color list of 1, it would pick the first list element. Now you might be thinking that is red, but it actually starts counting from 0, just like our pixels, right? We start from 0, go to 9. So this would be 0, 1, and 2. So if I do this, my lights should all be yellow on the way back. So let's go ahead and take a look at that and see if it works the way we want it to. So we should see color, 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 and then on the way back they should all be yellow. Okay, cool. So we have learned how to use one piece of this list at a time, but how can we make it so that it changes color? So the first thing you might think is, well, we've been using this x variable, so let's try this x variable. So this, remember, x starts at 0, and it goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Every time it goes through, it adds 1 to x. So at first, it'll choose the first element of our list, and then the second, and then the third. Seems reasonable to me. So let's go ahead and hit save, and it's going to run just fine for a minute. And then we're going to get an error. List index out of range. Let's try to scroll so you guys can see that. List index out of range. And what that means is basically how many elements does our list have? 0, 1, 2, or 3 elements. But how high is x going? It's going up to 10, right? Because we told it to go to 10. So once we get to x is 3, then it goes, okay, let's go to color list and let's find the third item. And it's like, there's nothing here. And so it freaks out and it gives us this error. It is out of range. There isn't a third list element.
So one thing I can do is I can just, keep typing in random colors until I make sure I have over 10, blue, white, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, green, red. I think that's 10. Now let's run that. See if we get an error. Whee! Alright, so let's go back and I'll show you what's happening. So we're going all the way there. We're going all the way back. It's changing colors. It should be doing the pattern this pattern right here. So show red, yellow, green, red, pink, red. Okay, this ridiculous random assortment of colors. And it is going around. Now, if we look back at our code and we say, wow, this, we didn't even add a line of code, is doing essentially the same thing as this, which is pretty cool. And the reason I teach it two ways is because I want you to understand if and else statements, which are super, super, super important in programming. Anytime you want to make a decision, you want an if and else statement. But lists are also really important and really useful. So it's good to see how to do things multiple ways, because depending on what you're doing, you're going to want to be able to choose, and in order to choose which one to use, you need to know what they both do. Now, one thing you might be saying is, well, okay, I mean, this is kind of annoying. I have to write out every single color, and for this application it's only 10, but for some things it might be way longer. So what if we only want to have 3 items in our list, and we want to make that a pattern? We can actually do that, and it uses a super cool thing called an operator. So basically what that means is that just like in math, we have operators, right? We can do plus and minus. We already used those a little bit, but we can use these operators inside of here. So the new operator that I want to show you, that unless you've done computer science, you've probably never seen before, is called mod, or modulus. Put the camera a little bit up so hopefully we don't have as many weird focus issues. So, mod is, the full name is modulus, but you will hear people refer to it, of course we're still having weird focus issues. It's fine. The full, or what people call it is mod. It's just shorter. And just like we have things plus and minus, like, hold on, I think that might fix the focus. Just like we have plus and minus, right, you have the word plus, and then you have a symbol that goes with it. Mod has a symbol that goes with it, and it is the percent sign. Okay, so I'm telling you about this new operator, but like, what does it actually do? So what it does is it gives you the remainder of 2 numbers if you do long division. Okay, so not the result, but the remainder. So let's walk through that. So if we have 5 mod 2, what it does is it says, okay, 2 goes into 5. Now, how many times does 2 go into 5? Twice, right? So 2 times 2 is 4, and then we have 1 left over, so 2, remainder, 1 is what the long division for that looks like. Mod gives us this remainder. Okay, so yeah, that's kind of a random operation, but why on earth would this be useful? So let's think about this. If you have a bunch of different numbers, mod something. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So these are numbers, and we are modding it by 2. So let's say mod 2. Oops, I put that in the wrong spot. Okay, let's say mod 2. Sorry, that's a little far from that, but that's okay. So 0 mod 2. So 2 goes into 0 how many times? 0 with a remainder of 0. Okay, cool. That's 0. 2 goes into 1 how many times? 0 with a remainder of 1. 2 goes into 2 1 time with a remainder of 0. So I'm writing down the mod values here. And then this will go 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. Cool, so now we have generated this alternating pattern of zeros and ones, which is kind of handy, it turns out. And if you do it with something like mod 3, we can do, it'll be 0, remainder of 1, and then 3 into 2 is remainder of 2, and then 0, remainder of 1, remainder of 2, 0, 1. And I know I'm going through this quickly. You are welcome to pause and think about it yourself. But basically what this is going to do is, if you do mod 2, it will rotate through 2 options. If you do mod 3, it will rotate through 3 options. If you do mod 4, it'll rotate through 4, and so on and so forth. So it lets you make kind of these patterns. And since what we're trying to do is make a pattern of lights, in this case, we're going to use this mod operator to help us out. So what I'm going to do is go back to my moo, and I have 3 items, so I want to do mod 3. So I should expect to see if this is working, red, yellow, green. So x mod 3, that should choose between 3 different options. So it'll rotate 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2. Hopefully that makes sense. So let's test it out. Okay, here is our board. Just pressed save. So it should go kind of like randomly, and then red, yellow, green, red, yellow, green, red, yellow, green, red. And then red, yellow, green, red, red, yeah. Okay, cool, we've got a pattern going. So just to test your knowledge, go ahead and try to make a list of like 5 or 7 or something. So make your list a little bit longer, change it, give it a different number of things, and then change your mod so that it still works and gives you the pattern that you want. All right, hopefully you're back, and let's add some things here. So I'm going to do blue and purple, or blue and pink. I think I don't remember if I have purple on there. Great, so now I have a 5-element list. These are each an element of the list. And I'm going to go down here, and because I want 5 options, I'm going to do x mod 5. Now let's go ahead and switch over to our board and press save. So I should see it go kind of rainbow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yay! And it's working. So hopefully you got that to work on your own as well. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.